Here we have our profiles, and you can have multiple profiles. Now let's select the one that we just made. You also have the ability to make changes to your profile in PyCommerce. So if you want to rename it, for example, maybe you want to change the lowercase d to a capital, you can do that. So let's do that. Dummy vendor capital, hit accept, and it's updated. So you can also delete the profile if you want, but we're not going to do that. So highlighted in green here, I'm going to click next. And let's create our category. Here we have two options. We can do it manually by adding each field one at a time. For example, here's shipping. So we're going to add shipping. And I'm going to show you what this is doing. So if we go back to the products, we see the title or category right here. So here will be the shipping, and here we can include the weight of the box, the length, the width, and everything that has to do with shipping. So that should be everything we need for shipping. And let's add another category. And I'm going to show you how to build out these categories in a second. So let's add a category for measurements. See, we have measurements right here. So measurements, and now we have two categories. So let's see how we can edit our categories. So we're going to build out our shipping category. Okay, so everything you see right here. So let's click next. We see we have our shipping highlighted in green. And we can add the drop-down data directly from our Excel sheet. So you see all this, box 1, height, box 2, and so on. So now here we can choose the box height or box width, for example. Now let's click next. And this is what we have so far. So here's the shipping, measurements, the two that we added, and we can preview it, and it's going to show right here. And that's how you build your categories manually. And the reason we have the previewer is because the page here doesn't render the changes or the final outcome. So if you see here, there's no bolded letters, everything's a smaller size. And if we preview it, so let's go preview right here. You always have to preview. You see here the changes, bolded, larger letters. So you always need to preview to see how your changes look. Now, as you can see, this is going to take a long time to do manually. So why don't we automate this? The great thing about PyCommerce is the mapping capabilities. And you can see right here. So on the map, it says you should have a first row as a category and value in lowercase. So category and value lowercase. And when using bullet points, you call it bullet points. See here, so the value. So if you add it right here on your spreadsheet, so let's add bullet points. And here it is in Shopify. Now, I want to show you that we also have bullet points in the builder. So if you go forward, let's click on the category. Here we can see our bullet points in the drop-down menu right here. So let's clear this, go back to the data, and see we have these two bullet points. Awesome and amazing. I'm going to add these two bullet points. So bullet point 1, bullet point 2, and let's go to the HTML preview, and it's going to show right here, these two bullet points. Now let's go back and automate this using our map list. First, let's make sure our data matches. Category values, so let's see our product info, make sure everything is the same spelling and same case. Also, if you need to add more categories, you can just highlight and drag and do as many as you need to. So I'm going to just write descriptions as an example and drag here. And I suggest, well, actually, let's go back and select the column we want to use. And I suggest you just copy and paste instead of typing your H1. So, for example, actual width, copy and paste that here. Obviously, you'll add the correct values you need, but this is just an example. So add the description, copy and paste, and so on. Now, if you don't name your category, PyCommerce is going to name it for you. So in order to categorize it, so make sure you name your categories. See, this says uncategorized. Now let's go to the next step, and I'm going to show you what's going on here. We're going to delete the data we created manually. So delete. And now we're going to import the file product list. So select map list and import. This might take a few seconds. Okay, great. Now we go to the next step and preview what we did, and you'll see that everything is here. So we have the actual width, actual height, length. Now let's preview everything PyCommerce built for us. See? Get it right down here. Also, you could make changes to the template. So if we want to change the category text color, for example, say we want to make it green, we could do that. Like I said before, the preview doesn't update here, so we can either look at the preview and see the output, or we can wait until the actual push happens or the upload to Shopify. So I'm going to leave the green and change this background to green as well, just so you can see how to do it. Maybe a darker one, because I really like green today. And subcategory, you can see, hold on one second, this is for the text. So I'm going to leave the text black. You can also change the border color. So let's make the border color green. And let's preview it. Whoa, that's ugly. Okay, so why don't we change this back to black? Let's see. You can play around with it and customize it however you like. That's better. I'm just going to leave it like this since it's sample data. And you can also change the width of the table. So here you can't really see it, but I suggest leaving it on 100% because when you actually upload it to the Shopify page of your store, it's going to shrink like 50% and won't look right. But if you needed to, for some reason, leave it at 100%, you can. I don't know why you would, but it is an option. So for the value width of the category, you can do the same, set it to 50%, and you could see when it pushes. This is over here since it's rendering at 50%. So we're going to leave that how it is with the default values. You can also, let me just reset it. So you can also change the padding. I'm just going to reset all this back. You can make it bigger. Make it look bigger if you like. So see? And that's what it looks like. You can style it however you'd like. Now I'm going to reset it and leave it, just leave the default values. There we go. And reset. And now I'm going to upload this template. Now that the template has been uploaded to the database successfully, let's say for some reason you don't want to display the subcategories with this name. You also have the option to select an alias for it. So instead of having box 1 or box 1 height, because it does have to match your Excel sheet to populate the value, you can add an alias. So let's say I only want to display height. So I'm going to enter that here. Okay. And it's going to, let's just enter this height. And it's going to display, let's see how it's going to display. But it's still going to get the value. So let's keep in mind we have the shipping and height. And now let's go forward, and here we see shipping gets replaced with height instead of box 1. So that's how you use an alias.